Welcome back to the channel, guys. This episode might not be for everyone as I'm visiting the biggest mausoleum in the whole China, but if you're into history, then this might be for you. Hey everyone, right now I'm standing at Eastern Qing Tombs, which is Qing one of the most stunning imperial burial sites in China. Actually, it is the biggest and the most well-kept. It was built in 1661. This place took over 247 years. It's the largest and most complete imperial tomb complex in China, covering a massive 80 square kilometers. That's like 11,000 football fields. This is the final resting place for 5 empires, including the famous Kangxi and Qianlong empires, along with empresses, concubines, and princes. But here's the interesting story. While Kangxi and Qianlong are buried here, Emperor Yuling is buried at the Western Qing Tombs. Why? Well, by the way, this is about 2 hours on the west side of Beijing, and right now we are about 2 hours on the east side of Beijing. Legend says that Yuling originally wanted to be buried here, but he changed his mind because he felt guilty for seizing the throne from his brothers. To avoid disturbing his father's Kangxi eternal rest, he chose a new site further west. Hey guys, so I'm now at the one that Kangxi is buried. Kangxi is Qianlong's grandfather and Yuling's dad. Whoa. This one is a little bit further out and very least visited because basement where they bury the body and everything is not open to the public. So that's why not much people are here. Actually, I might be the only person here. This is Tower of Qianlong place. Oh my God, this is so Forbidden Palace. Wow. So I'm not the only one here. I see 2 other people. So I see that there are QR codes and stuff. So I found out it used to be open to the public. They started closing it last year to try to maintain the place or something. So hopefully by the time you guys get here, it will be open again if you want to see it. So this is the Jing Tomb, the mausoleum of Kangxi Empire. It was starting until Jing Tomb. The tradition of cremation was changed in favor of burials in the ground. So the architecture style and the funeral forms of Jing Tomb were followed by later generations. There are 6 people, including Kangxi Empire, 4 queens, and the Imperial noble consort are buried inside. All right, so the drone is not allowed. They were really nice about it. They said, oh, you cannot fly your drone here. Please take it down. And that was it. But I was able to capture at least a little bit of a footage. They were very nice about it. Like in China, they are not like, oh, you can't do this. You know, like they are somewhat nice about it. So now we're gonna go see Qianlong, which is one of the must-see here at Eastern Qing Tombs. Another fascinating fact, the site was chosen based on the Feng Shui principles. It is surrounded by mountains and river, believed to bring eternal peace to the royals. The layout is designed to mirror the Forbidden City with a central axis and a symmetrical structure. And get this, the tombs are filled with treasure, but many were looted during the early 20th century. Despite that, the grandeur and craftsmanship here are still breathtaking. All right, we are here now at Yuling, which is where Qianlong is buried. We're now entering the Hall of Prosperity and Gracious of Yuling. This is where they do their offerings, so lots of treasures to be seen here. Nice and cool here. Oh boy, look at that. Wow, that is the throne. Lots of dragon. Wow. This was Qianlong's sword. Although that Qianlong had a lot of wives and like concubines, his love was definitely his first. So this is a poem that he wrote in memory of her. Let me tell you a little bit more about Emperor Qianlong. He ruled for 60 years from the year 1735 to 1796, making him one of the longest reigning empires in Chinese history. And he's so famous because he was incredibly learned and cultured. He was a passionate poet, choreographer, and an art collector. That's why you see art pieces of his all over the world. Because, you know, they do gift exchange and all that, right? He loves to collect clock. And what else? Too many things. He wrote over 40,000 poems in his lifetime, so he definitely writes almost every day in his life. Now we are going into the underground palace of Yuling. It is composed of 9 arches and 4 double-leaf doors. It is 54 meters in depth, covers an area of 372 square meters. The engraving on Buddhism are everywhere inside. 6 coffins of Emperor Qianlong and his wives were placed here. I think in our lifetime, we will never be able to know about the, terracotta warrior in Xi'an. We will never know what the tomb of Chun Si Wang is like. Because remember, rumor has it that there are so much mercury down there. So it's never opened. Imperial burial place of Yufei is the tomb for concubines of Emperor Qianlong. This was the highest level tomb built for concubines in the Qing Dynasty. Inside the tomb, 36 of them. Other well-known include Empress Ula Nala, concubine Xiangfei. These are like the most famous people who were buried here. Oh, and let's not forget Empress Cixi, one of the most powerful women in Chinese history. She's also buried here. Cixi ruled China behind the scenes for nearly 50 years. Even though women weren't supposed to hold power, it is the most lavish one, supposedly. It was built from 1873 to 1879 at a cost of a whopping 227 million taels of silver. Dragon represent the empire, phoenix represent, of course, the empress. And this is what she looked like before. Whoa. I mean, guys, I know you cannot feel, but once you get in here, you can definitely feel and can picture how it was like back then. It is absolutely grand. Wow. This is the seal of Cixi. Wow. Look at this work, this stitching work. It's white silk. Wow. This is a screen made with it. This was her bronze water pipe. It's her mirror and those handles. She was also a painter. Going up to the Soul Tower. The Soul Tower is at the highest point of the tomb. You can also see Qianlong's and Yufei's. And then there's another watchtower there. That should be Qi'an. So I took very little pics or video today because I'm Chinese, right? We don't take pictures or video of tombs, at least with our faces on it. And I definitely try to not wear bright colors today as well because we don't do that. And I don't know if I'm like the very little people who follow it, but I believe in these things that you don't wear like red or like celebratory colors in our tradition to these burial sites. And now you can see the scale of this is definitely the biggest.
3 hours later.
3 hours later, we were back in Beijing city, and the city welcomed me with the most spectacular sunset. So gorgeous. Oh my God. Renaissance Wang Fu Jian. This is double bed. I booked last minute. Let's get to the lounge and grab a couple bites to eat before we head out to dinner. The Marriott lounge here, always one of my favorite. Beef stew, and then there's the Vietnamese noodle that you can make counter side. There's a salad bar and dessert station with a tart. Here is the bar, red, white, and bubbly beer, as well as different type of liquor.
Moments later.
This is the rooftop of this courtyard house, Yuan. The vibe is pretty cute. Honestly, lots of stars, but my screen cannot capture it. It is a Vietnamese restaurant in the middle of Beijing. So look, it is quite funny, but the food as the tables around me, they said is very, very good and authentic. So give it a try next time. But for me, I came to have a cocktail. This is the Susu cocktail with gin. As I heard that this place turned into a bar at night. So if you have a chance to come to Beijing and you just want like a really, really relaxed vibe for a couple drink or even something that's not Chinese for once, because you know what, if you're gonna be in China, you're gonna be eating Chinese most of the time. And I would get it why you would want some Vietnamese food or like even French food, Italian food or whatsoever. This is definitely a place that you can consider about.
The next day.
A super comfortable and short journey took me from Beijing to Tianjin.
So just 30 minutes from Beijing, I arrived at Tianjin. Absolutely beautiful city. I do not expect this. Do you see this bridge behind me and this river? It is a very, very scenic boat ride that you can take either daytime or nighttime. And behind me is the century clock, just right next to the Tianjin station. This is the iconic landmark of Tianjin. Very, very massive and right by the Haihe River. A lot of people actually compare this to the Seine River in Paris because of all the European buildings behind me. It is actually very, very relaxing here. Some people are just sitting by the river and just chilling. So I'm gonna head to the hotel now and come back here for the night view.
Moments later.
Checked in at the Western Tianjin. This is the living room. I actually really like the view. You can actually really see the city. This is the bedroom, bathtub, and then here's the closet.
I was so hungry, so grabbed a few bites at the lounge.
2 hours later.
Alright guys, this is another iconic landmark in Tianjin. It is called the Tianjin Eye, standing at 120 meters tall. It used to be the world's tallest Ferris wheel, surpassing the London Eye until, of course, the Singapore Flyer took the title in 2014, and then eventually Dubai took the title. So it's the very first of its kind because this Ferris wheel is built on a bridge. Well, definitely I have never seen that before. And there is a myth within the locals that if a couple kiss on the top, they tend to break up. So it's been cursed since 2009. It's a very, very viral story, and our local people actually believe in it. Yeah, Tianjin is not just somewhere that is beautiful during the day, as you saw once I got off the train station. You should absolutely 100%. If you have to pick, even do a nighttime stroll, because I have to say this Haihe River is very, very pretty. Everything is pretty much built along this river, and Tianjin, there's so much history, earthquake, so it's very controversial among the locals. They call themselves more like the laid-back big brother. Let's see if we can grab a picture. Here we are, Tianjin Eye. Many photographers here, as you can see, they will have an iPad showing you the picture, and it will cost 10 yuan a photo. So if you're by yourself or a couple, this is one of the pier for the scenic cruise. It is closed already as it's a low season, and the night rides here cost double amount of the daytime. In China, for some of these places, I would say city in the North China, they consider low season until March 31st, although it can get quite warm during the day. But like now, honestly, it's a little bit chilly, so there's not much people already. They said the last one was at 8:30. They literally reopened just a few weeks ago because this river was frozen or something, which I did not know that Tianjin can get this cold. But I guess it can because it's just right next to Beijing, right? But anyway, safe to say that I really like this city.
So
I thought that because I'm tired, so I feel so cold, and it's actually even my ears are starting to hurt now. Until I looked at the temperature, it says 9 degrees and feels like 4, but it was 25 in the afternoon.
And then we drove by this iconic Beiyang Bridge here in Tianjin, that 1923 French design drawbridge that has been a moving part of Tianjin skyline since 1923.
This is the 7 million pieces Porcelain House. A house that has 7 million pieces of porcelain. Crazy, right? This is how much he loved porcelain, so he actually put all this porcelain on the house. Oh my goodness. Wow. Unbelievable. As Chinese as it gets, but he was not a Chinese owner. but he just really loved these porcelain.
The next day.
So we are now at the Wu Da Dao, which translates to
5 Boulevard or 5 Avenue.
you can see, if I don't tell you, you probably wouldn't even know that this is China, aside from the Chinese character. I want to tell you guys a little bit on why Tianjin have so much Western architecture. So after the Opium Wars, Western power forced China to let them set up shops here. Basically like shops, churches, schools, buildings like this that used to be houses or like even shopping mall, theater, and it was separated into 9 concessions, basically like mini colonies, like British, Italian, French. They're trying to like beat each other by making like big, huge buildings to show off their power. But when they finally all left, of course, all these buildings are left here, and now they are mostly owned by Chinese. So one of the buildings that I went across last night, you're gonna see it on the screen now, it's actually like the City Hall of Tianjin, but it looks like a French building, you know, it's really, really cool. Anyway, there are like 2,000 of this colonial building just on these 5 streets. I know it says Boulevard, but yeah, it's just one after another. Very, very pretty, even at night as well. I need to come back to the city. Definitely way too little time in this gorgeous place. Hello. And this is like in the middle of the street, guys. And you will see an alpaca and a cat in the background. Oh my God, hi! This is like definitely the most westernized city in China I have ever been to. Wow. And just look at what's in front of me. Can you believe it? Wow. Yeah, definitely looks like an university. Again, lots of shops and restaurants, different types. Actually, a lot more westernized restaurants than I expect. Gorgeous. So like, yeah, locals are sitting here, like a real park. Along the side as well, there's a square. Gorge. Literally just like a glimpse of Tianjin, but hopefully it was enough for you to make a trip there that you want to go there, because I will personally definitely be back hopefully in 2 months time and film like a more proper footage, because I could not believe this place myself. Although I have heard of all the Western buildings in the middle of China, but I couldn't really see it until I saw it with my own eyes that it's just everywhere. It's not just one neighborhood. It is all throughout the city because of the 9 concessions from before. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching again. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. On next week's episode, we are finally getting into the city center of Beijing. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.